Whether you're just starting out or already prepping for future updates, your base location could mean the difference between loving the game or giving it up for good. My name is Codiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today we're sharing our favorite base locations in Grounded 2 and how they can set you up for success right now. Whenever we do a base locations video here on the channel, we don't just show you a location and aimlessly talk about it for minutes on end. We like to build practical, fully functioning bases, talking about their strengths and weaknesses both in the short and long term, and maybe even give you a few ideas for your own designs along the way. And we can see no better place to start than our favorite starter base location. After testing several locations for starter base in Grounded 2, we have come to the conclusion that you really can't get much better than the one right in front of the snack bar ranger station. Not only does it give you constant access to the analyzer and science shop, which is great early on, but the area out front of the station provides a significant amount of build space. Whether it's the relatively wide open flat area directly out front, or the rock right next to it, combined, the location offers great expansion opportunities. Slapping down a base here also means outside of the statue region, you have relatively equal travel time to all early story locations and points of interest. You also can't discount that at some point the hot dog cart might become a larger ominent factory, and we're setting the stage for that right now. In terms of nearby resources, there is plenty of grass, weeds, rocks, and clay, with acorns only slightly to the south. Two large roots nearby also allow for easy sap collection with sap catchers. You're also within range of both major POIs that contain both red soldier ant eggs and orb weaver eggs, allowing you to get your early game buggies quickly. This means this location is very easy to get established from a structural standpoint, making it an excellent initial foothold in Brookhollow Park, as well as for stockpiling building resources long term. Now, if building on the flat ground, you will have to worry about more ground-based raids, but if you're building on the large rock nearby, you'll be able to elevate your structure and set up clear choke points to funnel enemies into during a raid. Don't forget, during raids, orc enemies spawn based on your current location. As long as you funnel them towards your defenses, you should be perfectly fine. Keep in mind, as the game progresses, this location will become one of the furthest from future content once it's added. You're effectively in the very middle left of a massive map, so long term, you won't want this to be your permanent base. If you're looking for a completely elevated location to build on, any of the 4 fence posts in this area near the northern lamppost remain one of our favorite spots. Taking up the entire flat post space here allows you to only ever worry about aerial enemies that will still raid you, but as you probably know by now, turrets make short work of any of those enemies, particularly the low HP flying ones. However, it can be a bit of a pain to always climb up here, but it does become much easier to traverse once you have your orb weaver buggy due to the amount of web paths and jump ups catered to that mount. Our advice, just try and start with a simple staircase up and remove it later. It is important to note that the area around these fence posts can be quite hostile at times. A wolf spider and several orb weaver juniors regularly patrol this space here, and for some that might be a deal breaker. However, we love it, as it gives us quick access to higher tier enemies as well as the abundant resources nearby. Milkweed and caterpillars can be found all along the fence post area, while butterflies and bees frequently land on the flat rock directly north of the corner fence post. Additionally, not even a stone's throw away is the picnic table, a valuable point of interest containing blueberries, chewing gum, flowers, mints, spicy candy, feathers, and much more. Beneath it and to the west, you can also access clay, a bucket of acorns, and pine needles galore. To the west are lingonberries, and to the north is the only current source of charcoal, which will undoubtedly need long term as gear tiers increase. I also want to call out the Orc Mixer event here, which is one of the final story quests during the initial launch of the game. If you intentionally fail this event near the end, you can continually repeat it while constantly earning the body parts from all the insects you kill. Given this is extremely close by, this makes the location one of the best for bug part farming currently available. While this location is one of the most centralized in all of Act 1, only being far away from the fringe locations like the acorn trees and ice cream cart, it's not without its flaws. If you don't build effectively here, you will wind up with a towering, unorganized structure relatively quickly. And given how it's kind of a pain to bring materials up here, you're going to want to minimize how much you keep expanding vertically. We fully expect this northern half of the map to be the focus of development for the remainder of 2025, so this very well could be a solid base location for the foreseeable future. This next location is less about practicality and more about creative potential, but that's okay. We're of course talking about the massive log bench just north of the Melted Army Men point of interest. I don't think there is another location outside of maybe the hot dog cart's wooden platform where you get such a massive area to build on, almost completely unobstructed and without the need to build over any existing resources. It's another elevated position, but you have two distinct ways of getting onto it. The first is the spiderweb path that comes from the west and can become an element representative of a castle's drawbridge like we did here in our design. The other way up is from below on the east side of the bench. Hopping up on the two mushrooms and crossing over the tape player will put you out right in the middle of the bench. If neither of those suit you, you can of course just build some stairs. Resource-wise, this location isn't phenomenal. Outside of charcoal directly to your south and the picnic table providing access to blueberries, chewing gum, mints, spicy candy, and feathers, most other materials in the game will be a considerable trek away. You do have the benefit of the whole region being littered with pine needles and pine cones, so from a building standpoint, you can get by easily enough with just a couple weed stems. However, if you want to tap into something like clay, you'll be making frequent trips down south. It's a genuinely cool location and one that will become much more practical if and when ziplines or flying mounts do come to the game. There does seem to be considerable work going into the northern region of the map at the time of making this video, so this base location will give you direct access to the woodpile and whatever lies to the east over the coming year. When it comes to base locations with the most potential, look no further than the massive rock in the center of the ceremony region of the park. This is quite possibly the best spot for a single centralized base, mainly because there's enough space here to accommodate even the most ambitious builders. You do have to contend with the varying height differences of the world, but once you get your scaffolding down, you'll be able to build and expand to accommodate whatever the game throws at you over the course of early access. There's some cool aspects of this spot to consider, including how often bees naturally land on this rock. If observed and built around correctly, this base can turn one of the most annoying insects to farm into ones that basically get shipped right to your doorstep. You also have one side of this rock that, outside of the web bridge leading up, is completely inaccessible from the ground, making the other end an easy route to choke point and defend during raids. Resource-wise, you can find a mint box directly to the east of the Raystone platform, as well as easy access to the garden through some clever platforming. Grass, weeds, clay, and stone are all within your immediate proximity, but most other resources will require a bit of travel to obtain. However, once you have your Orb Weaver buggy, that really shouldn't be an issue and everything becomes equal distance away outside of lingonberries. Because of its centralized location to the whole northern half of the map, this base will serve you well for adventuring for at least the next year. One of the most exciting additions eventually coming to Grounded 2 is the new pond. It's massive looking and something you can already see taking shape in the park, but given the roadmap, it does seem a ways off. However, we do think it's worth preparing for, and this final location not only gives you a potentially gorgeous view of that future point of interest, but sets you up for massive success once the whole southern portion of the map gets developed and added into the game. The area we're looking at is here, directly south of the ice cream cart, smack dab between the Pebble Village lunchbox and the Blueberry Orchard. It's an almost pit-like location that allows for ample horizontal build space, while vertical expansion feels like it gives you a lot of room without feeling comically tall due to its sunken position. In addition to this pit element, there are two paths and an awesome tunnel that lead into the base, giving you some really cool opportunities to incorporate the terrain into the overall design. Once you build your base high enough, you'll also get a fantastic view of the eventual pond point of interest. Resource-wise, this location gives you access to a lot. There's a massive route that stretches across the entire southern region of the base, providing an excellent place to set up dozens of sap catchers. To the west of the base is the Pebble Village lunchbox point of interest, and while it does often have an orb weaver lurking beneath it, it's a great place to secure mints, spicy candy, and eventually sour candy all in one spot. On the top side of the lunchbox are also 2 chewed gum nodes, with a third further to the west on the lamppost. Similarly to the northeast is a box of spicy candy with several spilled on the ground outside. Right by that location also exists the highest concentration of blueberries anywhere on the map so far. Mixed in that orchard are a ton of husky weeds, which makes sourcing weed stems quite easy over time. You also can't discount easy access to the ice cream cart to your north and a dense concentration of acorns around the acorn tree to the west. Your only real struggle will be to obtain resources like pine needles, charcoal, and lingonberries, so be prepared to make single, lengthy excursions north to fill up yours and your buggy's inventories. This is a location I don't recommend building in right away, since you're about as far away from every bit of early story content there is, but it is the location we highly recommend slowly working on over the course of early access in preparation for all the content coming to Grounded 2. This will be, without a doubt, one of the most useful base locations long term, especially if you have some of the others on this list done as well. So there you have it, 5 awesome base locations that serve you now and into the future. As always, if you appreciate the work that goes into making these guides, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. We'll have more Grounded 2 in your feed, so keep it right here and never miss a thing. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.